everybody. It's Barb and Gabby again, and we are back out here in the woods. We have been searching the snow for the last 3 weeks now, trying to find some good footprints. And unfortunately, we really aren't having a lot of luck. We've found a few things that are maybe, but other than that, nothing that's been obvious. I think part of our problem has been not only the depth of the snow, because it's well, you can see here how far down I'm in, and it has been warming up and melting off a little. It's now out of all the trees. But when we first got this big dump of snow, it was just before the holidays. Well, 75% of the homes in Greenwater are vacation homes, and considering we had this huge dump of snow right before the holidays, Greenwater was a little bit overwhelmed with people. Well, at least I was feeling a little overwhelmed, but yeah, so now the holidays are gone. We've had another, probably 6 inches since then that is new, fresh on top of any tracks that were out here prior. I think during the time that there were so many people around, even if I heard something outside at night, I couldn't rule out, people. So everything is quiet again and back to normal, and Gabby and I are back out looking for tracks again because it's supposed to warm up here soon, and I don't know how much longer I'm going to have this snow to be looking at. But one of the things that has been kind of an issue for us, we've kept up the gifting, but we haven't seen any sign of anything but elk coming to the gifting area. There was a couple of raccoon tracks. What looked like a few coyote tracks went through, and yeah, other than that, just elk. And well, that makes a lot of sense because right now the elk are really hungry to the point where they've been going onto people's porches and taking their eating the wreaths and holiday decorations, things like that. So in concern for the elk, I haven't been leaving any pies, just apples, thinking, well, if that's who all is going to get the food, then I want the elk to have something that's actually a fruit, not just pie. So I've been out here, I've been talking to the Bigfoots, and I've been explaining the situation to them. I can understand that if they don't want to come to the gifting area while there's this much snow, if they don't even want to be in the area when there's this much snow, that's understandable. But if they're not going to be there to get the food first, and it's just going to be elk and maybe that one raccoon or coyote that passes through, well, we're just going to hold off on the pies until I'm sure they're back, although we still will be leaving peanut butter and honey along with the apples. So, all that said, I got something else to tell you about, which kind of ties in. So, after this story I'm about to tell you, I've been doing some thinking, and I kind of got to wonder, maybe they are still here, maybe they aren't, because, well, they do have some strange abilities. So, one of the things that I've heard about a lot, and I've actually seen myself a few times, is tracks that just come out of nowhere and stop, nowhere. They don't go anywhere. And especially in snow, if somebody's hoaxing you or just going along and leaving a set of tracks and they just end, well, there's got to be something else to it. They can't just go nowhere. So I've always kind of assumed that was maybe the leap onto the ground in between trees, something like that. But, okay, so here's the story. I'll tell it to you pretty much the way the conversation went. So I was at the store this week, and there were some loggers that they always come in and get their bear at the end of the day. And I think it was Tuesday, they just sent one fella in to get the beer. And I asked him where they were working. And he told me, and I said, oh, well, that's pretty squatchy up there. There's a lot of Bigfoot activity that that area is known for. They call it Skookum Flats for a reason. And he said that, actually the look on his face showed that he was a little bit surprised about the whole thing, that I was even bringing it up. And he was starting to go out the door, and he stopped and he came back, and he said, there was this one print that they had found that they had just kind of blown it off because there was only one. He said that in places up there, the snow was so deep that it was almost up to their chest trying to move around. But in other areas where the snow hadn't drifted and it was more sheltered under the trees, he said they could see where the elk were going through. There was a lot of elk tracks, and he said right in the middle there was this one bare footprint. He said it wasn't huge. Another reason they didn't think a whole lot of it. He said it was only about 10 inches long, And I pointed out to him that, well, they don't all start out big, and that was kind of an eye-opener for him too. But anyway, so yeah, he reports that they did find one single footprint up there in the Skookum Flats area where they're logging. And yeah, so they were confused how something could come through and just leave one footprint in the snow. And after he told me about that, you know, that got me to thinking about the gifting area over the last few weeks, where I'm not finding anything but elk and that one raccoon and that one coyote. Could it be they're still here? They're just, I don't know. I don't know how to rationalize it. I don't know how to explain it, although I'm sure that someday we will have enough information that scientifically these things will be able to be explained and accounted for. But right now, I just don't know how they move around without leaving tracks. Another thing, last night I heard something outside that kind of sounded like singing. It was like 3 notes that kept going over and over. And at the time, you know, I wasn't sure exactly where the sound was coming from. It wasn't really close. But it was similar to what I recorded out here a few years ago. You know, this stuff is really difficult to move around in. You know, some places, you know, it's not too deep, it's not too bad, but then you get into certain places and it's deep and it's a struggle to move through. And knowing that most of the activity right here in this particular area is from juveniles, I would imagine that if they are here, they are sticking to the trees. They're not coming down into this. I mean, who wants to have their feet buried in snow if they don't have to, huh? About to go out too. I just caught a glimpse of something black move between a couple of trees back in there. You really can't see anything in this picture. We can see a lot farther back into the trees. You can see Gabby, she's watching pretty intently. She's kind of a shuffling sound of some snow falling off the limbs, and then the sound of 3 or 4 big footsteps. Now almost quiet. Gabby is still watching. She knows what we're looking for. She saw it too. Put all this out there and let y'all think about it and decide for yourselves. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. If it's just the elk that are coming and taking the treats, well, that's fine, because I feel awful bad about the elk. But there is other things going on. And, yeah, hope we can figure it out one of these days. In the meantime, wish us luck.